Most people start their day reacting, scrolling through social media, checking messages, or dragging themselves out of bed with no real plan. But there's a different way, a smarter way. The most successful people in the world don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it first thing in the morning. Their secret. They start every day by taking fast action on one key task that actually moves them forward. Not 10 tasks, just one. And they do it before the world distracts them, before fear has a chance to speak, and before excuses take over. This one habit, repeated daily, builds momentum, confidence, and unstoppable progress. If you're tired of feeling stuck or busy without results, this simple shift might be the game changer you've been looking for. In this video, you'll learn why fast action on just one meaningful task can change your life, and how to start doing it tomorrow morning. Chapter 1. Wake up early to take control of time. You know what most people miss? The fact that time isn't just something you measure, it's something you control or lose. And the difference between those who live in survival mode and those who build lives of freedom and success is how they handle their mornings. Rich people, those who win at life, don't wake up with chaos. They don't start their days by reacting to alarms, checking notifications, or dragging themselves out of bed already behind. They take charge of their mornings. They own their time. And it starts with one very real, very simple habit: waking up early. Now, before you roll your eyes or think that's not for me, stop. This isn't about becoming a morning person just for the sake of it. This is about claiming back control, because when the world is still quiet, before everyone else's demands come crashing in, that's your time. That's your edge. That's where the winners are made. If you look at the most successful people in any field, business, sports, self-made entrepreneurs, thought leaders, one thing stands out. They all wake up early. Not because it sounds cool, not because it's trending, but because it works. Early mornings give them something that money can't buy: undisturbed focus, mental clarity, and ownership of their time. You want to build something meaningful. You want to get in shape, start a business, grow your income, improve your mindset, or just feel like you're not always catching up. It all starts with those quiet early hours. That's where change begins. Think about your day. Once it's 9 a.m., your phone starts buzzing. People need things. You have to respond. Tasks pile up. Traffic, noise, pressure. By the time you get a break, your energy is already gone. And then you wonder why it's so hard to change your life. But imagine waking up at 5 a.m. The world is silent. Your mind is fresh. No one is asking for anything. That time is yours. You can use it to exercise, to read, to journal, to think, to prepare, to breathe. Even if it's just 60 minutes before the chaos begins, it's enough to reset your life. Now, waking up early isn't easy at first, but it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent. Start small. If you're waking up at 8 a.m. now, try 7:30, then 7, then 6:30. Bit by bit. Give your body time to adjust. But the most important thing, don't hit snooze. The moment you hear that alarm, get up. Don't negotiate with your goals. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And every morning you win that battle with your alarm. You're not just waking up, you're proving to yourself that you're in control. Carries into every part of your day. Now, I want you to feel this. Really feel it. When you wake up early and move with purpose, your confidence rises. You're no longer rushing. You're not apologizing for being late. You're not overwhelmed. You're in command. That feeling is priceless. That momentum becomes your new normal. And rich people, they live in that zone. That's where they make their best decisions. That's where they create. That's where they grow. Most people want change, but they don't want to change their habits. And I get it. Change is uncomfortable. But if you keep waking up late, checking your phone first thing, rolling out of bed without direction, you're already behind. And the day hasn't even started yet. So how do you actually make this shift? Step 1. Set a non-negotiable bedtime. Most people fail at waking up early because they never prepare the night before. You can't stay up till 2 a.m. watching shows and expect to be productive at 5 a.m. That's not discipline. That's self-sabotage. You need to protect your sleep like it's your life, because it is. Step 2. Place your alarm away from your bed. Force yourself to physically get up to turn it off. That movement breaks the comfort trap and signals your brain that it's time to go. Step 3. Have a plan for your morning. Don't just wake up early to stare at the ceiling. Know exactly what you'll do. Maybe it's 20 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of deep breathing, 15 minutes of reading, and 15 minutes of writing your goals. Keep it simple but powerful. The goal is not to fill your time, but to own it with intention. Step 4. Protect this time like it's sacred. Don't let your phone hijack your attention. Don't open social media. Don't check emails. You'll have all day to deal with the world. The morning is your time to build your world. Now here's the deeper truth. Waking up early isn't just about success. It's about self-respect. When you rise early, when you move with intention, when you keep your promises to yourself, you build trust. And that trust, that's where confidence is born. That's where discipline grows. That's where your future starts to shift. People often ask, how do I change my life? And the answer isn't in some complicated formula. It's not locked inside a $1,000 course. It's right here. Change the way you start your day. Wake up early. Take control. Move with purpose. Do the hard thing when no one's watching. That's where growth lives. Because every morning you have a choice. You can sleep through it, or you can rise with it. You can stay stuck in old patterns, or you can start writing a new story. One step at a time, one morning at a time. And here's the truth, nobody's coming to do it for you. If you want more out of life, you have to reach for it before the world wakes up. The early hours are your secret weapon. Use them wisely, and they'll carry you farther than any shortcut ever could. You are capable. You are strong enough. You can do hard things. You can shift your habits. You can change your life. And it starts, not someday, not next week, not when it's convenient, but tomorrow morning. Set the alarm. Go to bed early. And when it rings, rise. That's how rich people start their day. And now, so can you. Chapter 2. Begin the day with intentional mental clarity. Most people wake up and immediately hand over their minds to the world. First thing in the morning, they reach for their phones, scroll through notifications, emails, messages, and headlines filled with noise. Before they've even stood up, their minds are already cluttered, distracted, and pulled in every direction. But rich people, people who are focused, grounded, and building something bigger than themselves, they don't start their mornings with noise. They begin their day with intentional mental clarity. And that's not a luxury, it's a decision. One that anyone can make. Mental clarity is about focus. It's about space. It's about starting your day in control of your thoughts, instead of letting your thoughts control you. And when you begin each morning with that kind of clarity, your day becomes different. You act instead of react. You make better decisions. You stay calm under pressure. You get more done with less stress. And that's where real power comes from. The world today is loud. It pulls your attention in 1,000 directions. If you don't take a moment each morning to get clear on what matters, the day will choose for you, and most of the time, that means distraction, stress, and wasted energy. But when you take even a few minutes to clear your head, align your thoughts, and choose your focus, you shift your entire day. You stop being overwhelmed and start being intentional. So what does beginning your day with mental clarity actually look like? It starts with this: a pause. Before you touch your phone, before you start thinking about your to-do list, before you jump into the day, pause, sit still, breathe, be quiet, let your mind settle. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need candles or a retreat in the mountains. All you need is a few quiet minutes to center yourself. Sit in silence. Focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. Feel your body. Feel your surroundings. Be present. This is your reset. This is where clarity begins. When your mind is quiet, it's easier to recognize what actually matters. You stop reacting to everything around you, and you start listening to your inner thoughts. You start noticing how you feel. Are you anxious, calm, tense, clear? Just noticing these things helps you understand yourself better, and that understanding is a huge advantage. After a few minutes of silence, move into clarity with purpose. Ask yourself, what matters most today? What are my priorities? How do I want to show up today? These questions bring focus. They guide your energy. Instead of getting dragged into random tasks or reacting to everything that pops up, you now have a direction. You know what matters. And when you know what matters, you become harder to distract. Rich people don't just work hard. They work with focus. They protect their mental space. They don't allow just anything to steal their attention. And the reason they can do that is because they start their day with clarity. They decide what deserves their energy. Everything else, it waits. If you're always feeling stressed, scattered, or stuck in a loop of busyness without progress, you probably need more clarity in your mornings. Not more coffee, not a longer to-do list. Just space to think. Space to decide, space to connect with your purpose. Another powerful practice: journaling. No fluff, just you and a blank page. Write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you want to achieve today, what you're grateful for. Don't worry about grammar or spelling. This is not for anyone else. It's a mirror for your mind. When you write down your thoughts, you clear your mental clutter. You turn confusion into clarity. You take control of your emotions. You slow down racing thoughts, and you give yourself direction. Even 5 minutes of this can shift your mindset completely. You can also use this time to review your goals, not in a mechanical way, but with intention. Look at where you're headed. Remind yourself why it matters. Visualize success. Picture yourself executing your tasks with focus, confidence, and calm energy. The clearer your mind is in the morning, the less likely you are to be shaken by distractions later. Things will still come up, problems, delays, unexpected situations, but your response will be different. You won't panic. You won't spiral. You'll respond with purpose, because you started your day with intention. Now, this might sound simple, but that's the power of it. It's not complicated. It's not some secret system. It's just a habit, a mindset, a choice. And the truth is, most people won't do it. They'll continue to wake up and react. They'll reach for their phones, get lost in the noise, and wonder why they feel behind before the day even starts. But you're not most people. You're choosing to step into a new way of living. You're choosing clarity over chaos. And here's what's beautiful. This doesn't take hours. It doesn't require a perfect schedule or a big budget. It just takes a few minutes. But those few minutes compound over time. Every day you start with clarity. You sharpen your focus. You build your self-awareness. You grow stronger mentally. And eventually this becomes your new normal. You'll start noticing things. You'll feel calmer in the face of pressure. You'll have more confidence in your decisions. You'll stop second-guessing yourself. Your productivity will improve, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing the right things with the right energy. That's how rich people operate. They don't rush into their mornings. They ease in with purpose. They set their minds before they set their schedules. They get clear before they get busy. And now you can too. So tomorrow morning, don't just wake up and go through the motions. Wake up and own your mindset. Sit in silence, breathe, reflect, journal, focus, decide what matters, and step into your day with confidence. This is your edge. This is your new standard. Clarity is not a gift. It's a practice. And every time you choose it, you choose a better version of your life. Chapter 3. Exercise first thing to boost energy and focus your body affects your mind more than you think. The way you feel physically can shape the way you think, the choices you make, and the energy you bring into every room. That's why one of the most consistent habits you'll find in high-performing, successful people, the ones who actually live with intention and create impact, is this: they move their body early in the day. First thing. They don't wait until they feel like it. They don't wait until the afternoon. They build momentum before the world wakes up. It doesn't matter if it's a full workout, a simple stretch, a walk, or 10 minutes of push-ups. The key is this: they start the day with movement. Because movement wakes you up. Movement creates energy. Movement builds discipline. Most people look at exercise as something you do just to stay in shape or lose weight. But that's a surface-level understanding. Rich people see exercise differently. They know it gives them an edge. They understand it sharpens their mental focus. It lifts their mood. It strengthens their emotional control. It resets their nervous system and clears out the fog. Think about how you feel when you wake up. Sometimes you feel heavy, slow. Your body aches. Your mind is cloudy. And when you skip movement, you carry that energy into your day. You sit in front of your computer still feeling half awake. You start checking things off your list, but something's missing. Your clarity, your presence, your intensity. But when you move your body right after waking up, everything changes. Blood starts flowing. Your heartbeat rises. Oxygen reaches your brain. You begin to feel alert. Your senses sharpen. You become more present in your own skin. And that feeling, that's your fuel for the day. That's your real starting point. It doesn't matter how much time you have. Even 10 minutes of intentional movement will make a difference. No one said you need a gym membership or fancy equipment. No one's asking you to train like an athlete. What matters is consistency, the commitment to do it every morning, no matter what. Successful people don't treat exercise as optional. They treat it as essential. It's part of their discipline, part of their structure. It's how they wake up, not just physically but mentally. This habit also trains something deeper, the ability to do something hard right away. When you work out in the morning, especially when you don't feel like it, you build mental strength. You train your mind to act without excuses. That mindset carries into every other area of your life. When your body is active, your confidence increases. Your self-image improves. You walk differently. You speak with more conviction. Why? Because you've already done something productive and powerful before most people even got out of bed. That creates internal momentum, and that momentum is what separates people who live on purpose from people who just go through the motions. Another reason this matters: stress. Life is demanding. You're going to face challenges. Whether you run a business, work a job, or take care of your family, stress will come. And exercise is one of the healthiest ways to manage it. Movement reduces anxiety. It lowers stress hormones. It gives your mind a reset button. Rich people understand this. They use movement to protect their mental state. They don't wait until they burn out. They build resilience into their routine. If you ever feel stuck, tired, or mentally foggy, you probably don't need another coffee. You probably don't need to scroll your phone. You probably just need to move. Jumping jacks, a short jog, some bodyweight squats, anything to get your body involved. The results are immediate. You feel more alive, more grounded, more focused. Exercise also increases your capacity to handle problems. When your body is strong and your energy is high, you don't feel as easily overwhelmed. You think clearer. You make faster decisions. You're less reactive. That kind of clarity is priceless in today's world. Now, there's one more powerful truth here. How you start your day becomes how you live your life. If you start each morning in a fog, distracted and slow, you build a habit of passivity. But if you start with purpose, with motion, with energy, you train yourself to lead, to act, to show up ready. The habit of morning exercise doesn't just build your body, it shapes your character. It teaches you to do what matters, not just what's easy. It teaches you consistency. And success, real success, is built on consistency. A lot of people say they don't have time to work out in the morning, but what they really mean is they haven't made it a priority. You always have time for what you value. Wake up 30 minutes earlier, go to sleep a little sooner. Prepare your clothes the night before. Keep it simple. You don't need a perfect plan, you need a real commitment. You're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing this to feel stronger, to think clearer, to carry yourself with more presence. You're doing this to prepare your mind for the rest of the day, because the truth is, the way you treat your body shows up in the way you treat your life. So start small. You can walk. You can stretch. You can do 20 push-ups. You can do bodyweight squats while you listen to music. Just move. Move your body. Wake up your mind. There will be days you don't feel like it. That's fine. Do it anyway. Those are the days that count the most. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you grow, and that growth compounds. This is how rich people stay sharp. It's how they stay grounded. It's how they stay ahead, not because they're lucky, but because they show up for themselves consistently. You don't need special genetics. You don't need extra hours in the day. You just need to move. Start early. Start now. Start every day with purpose, and your life will reflect it. Your body is your first tool. Take care of it. Honor it. Use it. And you'll find that energy, focus, and confidence aren't things you chase, they're things you create. Chapter 4. Review goals daily to stay aligned with vision. One thing becomes clear when you study successful people long enough: they don't stumble their way to success. They plan it, they visualize it, and they stay locked in on it every single day. Their life isn't shaped by chance. It's shaped by clarity. And that clarity comes from one simple but powerful habit: reviewing their goals every single morning. They don't write down goals once and forget them. They don't wait until the end of the year to think about progress. They bring their goals into focus daily. Because that's how they stay connected to their bigger vision. That's how they stay on track, even when distractions show up. Most people lose momentum in life, not because they don't have talent or ideas, but because they forget where they're going. They get caught up in the noise, the routine, the endless list of small tasks. Days blur together, weeks pass, and suddenly they feel lost, drifting, busy, but not fulfilled. Rich people avoid that trap by making their goals part of their morning routine. They don't allow themselves to forget what they're working toward. They wake up and remind themselves what matters. That's how they build alignment between their actions and their purpose. When you start your day by reviewing your goals, something shifts. Your mind wakes up differently. You remember what you're working for. You see your long-term vision more clearly. You stop wasting time on things that don't move the needle. It becomes easier to say no to distractions. You stop giving your energy to things that don't align with your bigger picture. You become more focused, more selective, more intentional, and that mindset creates results. This habit also keeps your goals alive. Too many people write their goals in January and never look at them again. By March, they're gone. By summer, they're not even thinking about them. But the people who win, they bring their goals into focus daily. They keep them fresh. They stay connected to them emotionally. That connection fuels their discipline. Here's how it works in real life. Each morning, take 5 to 10 minutes to look at your goals, not in a robotic way, but with meaning. Read them out loud if you need to. Remind yourself why they matter. Feel the purpose behind them. You're not just repeating words, you're resetting your direction. You're choosing your focus. You're making sure that today's actions will move you closer to the life you actually want, not just the one that feels urgent. Successful people understand that clarity fades over time. Life pulls you in different directions. Priorities get blurry. But when you build this habit, you're constantly realigning. You're checking in with yourself. You're asking, am I still on track? Is what I'm doing today helping me get there? That kind of awareness is rare and powerful. When your goals stay top of mind, you start acting differently. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop looking for shortcuts. You get focused on the process. Because now you see the connection between what you do today and where you'll be in the future. Reviewing your goals daily also helps you measure progress. You'll see where you're improving. You'll also see where you're falling short. And that feedback matters. It gives you the chance to adjust your actions before you drift too far off course. There's something else this habit does. It strengthens belief. When you read your goals every day, you start to believe them more. You start to picture them more clearly. You feel them getting closer. That belief changes how you speak, how you think, how you carry yourself. People can feel it. That belief makes your goals real, even before they're visible. And when belief grows, so does effort. You start pushing harder. You stay committed longer. Because now you're not just chasing a dream, you're building it one focused day at a time. This isn't about obsessing over results. It's about building the habit of alignment. So even if the goal is far away, even if progress is slow, you're still moving in the right direction. You're still showing up with intention. People who feel stuck in life often don't need more time. They need more clarity. And reviewing your goals every morning gives you that. It gives you a compass, a reason, a target. That target brings order to your day. Without it, your energy gets scattered. You react instead of lead. You chase everything and catch nothing. But with daily goal review, you sharpen your mind. You set your tone. You move with purpose. Start simple. You don't need a complicated system. Just write down your top 3 to 5 goals. Make them specific. Make them meaningful. Then each morning, read them. Think about them. Visualize what achieving them looks like. Ask yourself, what's one step I can take today to move closer? That's it. That's how alignment begins. Some days, the step will be big. Other days, it'll be small. Doesn't matter. What matters is direction. What matters is that you keep your vision in front of you. Reviewing your goals daily also helps you stay patient. When you look at the big picture every morning, you stop chasing short-term validation. You stop comparing yourself to others. You understand that what you're building takes time, and that understanding builds peace. It builds maturity. It builds consistency. You stop looking for quick wins and start building real success. Because now, every choice you make is filtered through your vision. And that's how successful people live on purpose. If you really want to change your life, don't wait for the future to feel clear. Create clarity now. Start each day by reminding yourself what matters. Reconnect with your goals. Reconnect with your vision. Because no one else will do it for you. The world will keep throwing noise at you. But if you build this habit, if you choose to start your day by looking ahead, not just reacting to what's around, you'll move through life with more confidence, more direction, and more peace. Success isn't an accident. It's built on small, clear, repeated actions. Reviewing your goals is one of those actions. Simple, quiet, but powerful. Make it part of your mornings. Make it part of your identity. Your future depends on it. Chapter 5. Practice gratitude to attract more positive outcomes. The world moves fast. There's always something happening. Another goal to chase, another task to finish, another problem to solve. In the middle of it all, most people forget to notice the good. They forget to pause and appreciate what they already have. And that one mistake over time can steal peace, blur perspective, and limit growth. Successful people understand this. They know that gratitude isn't just a nice feeling or a polite habit. It's a powerful mindset. A tool, a way of training the mind to focus on what's strong instead of what's missing. And that shift in focus is what opens the door to more clarity, more energy, and more opportunity. The most successful people in the world, rich in wealth, in relationships, in meaning, they start their mornings with gratitude. Not because their lives are perfect, not because everything goes their way, but because they choose to pay attention to what's good. They know that when you focus on what you appreciate, more things worth appreciating show up. Gratitude is a lens. It changes how you see your life. It doesn't ignore the challenges. It just gives you the strength to face them without feeling defeated. It grounds you. It reminds you that even in the middle of struggle, there's still progress. There's still beauty. There's still something working in your favor. You can train your mind to focus on what's wrong, or you can train it to focus on what's right. Whichever one you choose will shape your thoughts, your mood, your decisions, and your future. People often think gratitude is a passive emotion, just feeling good for a second and moving on. But in reality, it's an active choice. It's something you do, not just something you feel. And when you practice it daily, especially in the morning, it transforms the way you show up. When you wake up and focus immediately on everything you lack, what didn't happen, what's missing, what's wrong, you start your day with tension, with anxiety, with frustration. But when you wake up and take a few minutes to notice what's already working in your life, You begin the day lighter, stronger, more open. It could be as simple as this: I'm thankful I woke up today. I'm thankful for a roof over my head. I'm thankful for another chance to grow. I'm thankful for people who believe in me. I'm thankful for every lesson that made me wiser. This isn't about being fake or pretending things are perfect. It's about creating mental space to recognize what's already supporting your journey. Because when you see the good, you strengthen it. What you focus on grows. Gratitude also changes the way you deal with stress. When your mind is trained to notice what's going well, you become more resilient. You don't break as easily. You don't give up as quickly. You bounce back with more perspective, because you haven't forgotten what's still working for you. People who practice gratitude are calmer. They're more grounded. They're better at handling pressure, because they're not just reacting emotionally, they're moving from a place of balance. There's also a deep confidence that comes from gratitude. When you're thankful for what you have, you stop chasing validation. You stop needing to prove yourself. You begin to act out of clarity instead of insecurity. That kind of confidence doesn't just attract success, it attracts respect, trust, and peace of mind. And here's something important: gratitude builds patience. When you're thankful, you're more willing to play the long game. You stop rushing. You stop forcing outcomes. You start trusting the process, because you see progress in every step, not just the final result. That mindset opens the door to better decisions. When you're in a grateful state, you're not acting out of fear or desperation. You're not comparing yourself to everyone else. You're focused. You're at peace. You're moving with purpose. That's why rich people, those who live with intention, guard this habit. They carve out time for it every morning. They journal their gratitude. They speak it. They reflect on it. They make it part of their inner routine, just like exercise or planning or reviewing goals. And it's not just about big things. In fact, the smaller your list, the more powerful the effect. It teaches you to see the value in ordinary moments: the breath in your lungs, the coffee in your hand, the quiet before the day begins. When you train your mind to notice those things, your entire experience of life becomes richer. This isn't a quick trick, it's a lifelong discipline. The more you practice gratitude, the more it becomes your default mindset. You stop needing everything to be perfect, and you start finding peace in the imperfect. You also become more generous, more kind, more open to others. Why? Because gratitude softens your heart. It removes ego. It replaces entitlement with appreciation. And that shift changes the way you treat people, which changes the way they respond to you. Now, this doesn't mean you stop striving for more. Gratitude doesn't cancel ambition. It focuses it. It keeps you grounded while you grow. It keeps you centered while you climb. It makes sure you don't lose yourself while you pursue more. If you want to build anything meaningful, a business, a family, a better future, you need the strength that gratitude gives. It's not just about being positive, it's about being aware. Aware of how far you've come, aware of what's possible, aware of the gifts you already have that others would dream of. So make it part of your morning, before the emails, before the noise. Sit quietly, breathe, write down 3 things you're thankful for. Think about why they matter. Let that feeling settle in. Let it shape your mood. Let it direct your attention. Then carry that mindset into the rest of your day. Notice more, appreciate more, compliment more, give more, be present more. The more you do it, the more your life begins to shift, not because circumstances magically change, but because you changed the way you experience them. Gratitude unlocks new energy. It creates mental space for growth. It opens the door to deeper relationships. And it gives you the peace of mind to stay focused, calm and clear, no matter what's happening around you. That's not a trick. That's a habit. One that rich, resilient and fulfilled people commit to every single morning. Chapter 6. Plan the day with clear priorities and focus. The difference between a scattered day and a strong one usually comes down to one thing: clarity. Not just knowing what needs to get done, but knowing what actually matters. Rich people don't start their day blindly. They don't wake up and just react to whatever shows up. They begin with intention, with clarity, with a plan. That's not a coincidence. It's a pattern. Every person who consistently creates success, peace, and impact understands this one truth. If you don't set your priorities, the world will set them for you. Most people jump into their day without thinking. They answer emails. They reply to messages. They handle small problems. They move from one task to the next without pausing to ask, "Is this moving me forward?" And by the time the day ends, they feel tired, but not fulfilled. Busy, but not better. People who build success start their day differently. Before anything else pulls them in, they sit down and plan. They look at what's important, not just what's urgent. They define what success looks like for today, not in general, not someday, but today. That kind of daily clarity creates weekly wins. Weekly wins create momentum, and momentum builds long-term results. Planning your day with clear priorities isn't about perfection. It's not about mapping out every hour or micromanaging your schedule. It's about focus, about putting your energy where it matters most. Start with this question: what are the top 2 or 3 things that, if I do them today, will move me closer to my goals? Not 20 things, not your entire to-do list. Just the few things that actually create progress. That's how you separate real work from busy work. Successful people don't try to do everything. They focus on what matters most. They cut out distractions. They delegate what they can. And they give their full attention to the few tasks that actually build their vision. That's why their days feel productive. That's why they seem in control. Because they're not being pulled in every direction. They're moving in one direction forward. When you plan your day with clear priorities, your mind relaxes. You stop feeling overwhelmed by 100 little things. You know what to focus on. You know where to begin. That structure creates freedom, not restriction. There's a false idea that planning your day makes life rigid. The opposite is true. A clear plan gives you flexibility, because you're not wasting energy making decisions all day long. You made the decisions early. Now you can follow through with confidence. Your plan doesn't have to be complicated. Start with your goals. Look at where you want to go. Then ask yourself, what can I do today to move one step closer? That's your priority. Build your plan around that. You can write it down. Use a notebook, an app, a whiteboard, whatever works for you. Just make it visible. Make it real. When your priorities are in front of you, it's easier to stay focused when distractions try to steal your attention. And distractions will come. That's guaranteed. Emails, messages, random requests, noise. But when you've already decided what matters, you won't be shaken. You won't get pulled off track every time something urgent pops up. You'll know what deserves your yes and what needs a no. Rich people know how to say no, not because they're rude or unavailable, but because they're focused. They understand that saying yes to everything is a fast way to lose direction. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, You're saying no to something meaningful. So they protect their time, they protect their energy, and they stay loyal to their priorities. Planning your day also reduces decision fatigue. Every day you make hundreds of choices. What to wear, what to eat, who to respond to, what to work on. Over time, all those little decisions drain your mental energy. But if you start your day with a clear plan, you've already removed a huge part of that mental load. Now you're not guessing what to do next. You're not reacting. You're executing. That mindset shift, moving from reaction to intention, is what separates average days from great ones. It's the difference between feeling busy and feeling effective. Here's another key benefit. When you plan your day with priorities, you finish with clarity. You don't have to wonder if your day was productive. You don't have to measure your value by how many hours you sat in front of a screen. You can measure your progress by whether you completed what truly mattered. That's where real satisfaction comes from. Not from being busy, but from being useful. From seeing progress. From finishing the day knowing that you honored your goals, your vision, and your standards. To get started with this habit, build it into your morning. After you wake up, after you reflect or move your body, take a few quiet minutes to review your goals and plan your top priorities. Don't rush it. Think clearly. What needs your best energy today? What will bring you closer to the life you're building? Write down your 2 or 3 highest impact tasks. Commit to starting your day with the hardest one first. Not the easiest, not the most comfortable, the most important. That's how you build discipline. That's how you create momentum early. You can still leave space in your day for flexibility. You're not scheduling every minute. You're choosing your direction. And that direction gives your day purpose. Some people resist this because they feel like they're already too busy. They say, I don't have time to plan. I just have to get started. But that's like saying you're too busy to check a map before a road trip. It might feel efficient in the moment, but it usually leads to more wrong turns, more delays, more wasted time. A few minutes of planning in the morning can save you hours later. And not just time, it saves you stress. It reduces mental clutter. It gives you peace. There's a deep sense of control that comes from knowing what to focus on. You don't feel lost. You don't feel like you're constantly behind. You feel present, steady, focused. And that presence shows up in your work, your conversations, your decisions. Rich people build this mindset daily. They don't hope their days go well. They prepare for it. They don't wait to see what happens. They decide what's going to happen. And they do it by starting their mornings with a clear plan built around real priorities. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right things, consistently. Start each day with focus. Stick to your priorities. Say no to the noise, and your life will begin to reflect the power of that discipline. Chapter 7. Avoid distractions and protect your morning routine. The quiet hours of the morning are sacred. They set the emotional and mental tone for the rest of the day. What you allow into that space will either build your focus or destroy it. What you choose to do, and more importantly, what you choose to avoid, can determine whether your day moves you forward or scatters your energy in 100 directions. Distractions are everywhere. Most people are surrounded by noise before they even step out of bed. Their phones light up with messages. Notifications are buzzing. Emails are waiting. News updates are flowing in. Social media is right there, begging for attention. And with one swipe, their morning is hijacked. Rich people don't let that happen. They protect their mornings with intention and discipline. They understand that success isn't just about doing more, it's about eliminating what doesn't matter. And the first thing they eliminate is unnecessary distraction, especially during their first hour of the day. The first hour is not just time, it's momentum. If you fill it with reactive behavior, you've already surrendered control. If you give away your attention to other people's noise, you've handed them the power to dictate your state of mind. That's why successful people build routines that filter out distractions. They don't touch their phones immediately after waking up. They don't open emails, scroll through messages, or check what the world is doing. Instead, they start with intention. They guard that time because they understand its value. The goal isn't to live like a monk or cut off the world forever. The goal is to start the day grounded and in control, not overwhelmed and reactive. When you begin your morning with clarity, the rest of the day flows with more focus. Distractions aren't just digital, they can come in many forms: physical clutter, unnecessary tasks, scattered schedules, even negative conversations. Protecting your routine means managing your environment. It means choosing what enters your mental space and what stays out. Start by creating a morning routine that is simple, repeatable, and meaningful to you. That routine becomes your shield. It's your structure. It gives your brain a clear direction every morning. It could include silence, reflection, reading, movement, journaling, planning, or goal setting. The specific details can vary, but the purpose is always the same. Protect your energy and train your focus. Once you've built your routine, defend it, because it will be tested. Distractions don't ask for permission. They invade by default. The only way to keep them out is to decide in advance what matters and what doesn't. One of the most powerful habits successful people build is delayed input. They don't check texts or emails until their most important task is complete. They don't respond to other people's demands before taking care of their own vision. They build boundaries, not just physical ones but mental ones. If your phone is the first thing you look at, you're not starting your day, you're reacting to someone else's. The average person opens their phone within minutes of waking up and immediately falls into a cycle of scrolling, comparing, and reacting. They start off passive, not active. They're consuming, not creating. To build a high-impact morning, you have to reverse that. Start by being unavailable. Create space for stillness. Even 10 minutes of uninterrupted focus at the start of your day is more powerful than an hour filled with noise. Successful people often treat the morning like a sacred appointment. They don't cancel it. They don't compromise it. They show up for themselves first. Before the world pulls them in 10 directions, they check in with their goals, their vision, and their values. They also understand that routine is power. When you do the same meaningful actions every morning, you train your brain to shift into clarity faster. You eliminate the decision fatigue that comes from waking up and wondering what to do next. You begin with rhythm, not chaos. To protect your routine from distractions, you need systems. For example, keep your phone in another room overnight. This simple action removes the biggest source of distraction from your morning. You'll sleep better, wake up calmer, and begin your day with intention instead of reaction. Set a non-negotiable time block for your routine. Whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, treat it like an important meeting. Block it off. Show up for it. Keep it consistent. Communicate your boundaries. If you live with others, let them know your morning routine is part of your growth. When people understand it matters to you, they'll begin to respect the space you need. Automate what you can. Lay out clothes the night before. Prep your breakfast. Clear unnecessary items from your environment. Fewer distractions mean more mental bandwidth. But it's not just about avoiding distraction, it's about strengthening focus. Every time you protect your routine, you train your mind. You build discipline. You sharpen your decision-making. You begin the day by keeping a promise to yourself. That builds confidence. That builds self-respect. The truth is, discipline doesn't just help you avoid distractions, it makes you immune to them. Over time, what used to pull you off track no longer has power, because your vision is stronger. Your clarity is deeper. Think about this: almost every distraction is someone else's priority. A message, a ping, an alert. It's all noise unless it's aligned with your purpose. Successful people know how to say no to the non-essential, not because they don't care, but because they care more about the direction they're going in. This clarity doesn't come naturally. It's built. It's protected. It's reinforced every single morning. That's why rich people are consistent. Not because they have more time, but because they manage their energy and attention like it's gold, because it is. Distractions are thieves. They steal time. They steal focus. And most dangerously, they steal momentum. When your morning is broken into fragments of attention, the rest of your day becomes harder to manage. You start slower. You move less deliberately. You lose the advantage that a clear mind could have given you. But when your mornings are protected, your life is protected. Because how you start the day determines how you show up for the rest of it. This isn't about being perfect. You won't eliminate every distraction. But if you reduce just half of them, if you win back even 30 minutes of clarity, you're already ahead of most people. You're giving yourself a mental edge. The world is full of noise, but clarity is a choice. Focus is a skill, and routines are the armor that keep your mind strong. Protect your morning. Guard it like something precious, because it is. That first hour might not look like much on the surface, but over time it becomes the foundation of everything you build. Chapter 8. Read or learn something valuable. Every morning, the human mind is shaped by what it consumes. The first thoughts of your day influence how you think, how you act, and how you see the world around you. For the most successful people in the world, mornings are not just a time to prepare their bodies, but a time to fuel their minds. Reading or learning something valuable every morning is not a random habit. It's a conscious decision to invest in mental clarity, growth, and long-term wisdom. People who rise to the top in any field, business, leadership, health, or creativity, develop the daily discipline of feeding their minds before they face the world. This is how they build insight, refine their thinking, and sharpen their vision. Most people wake up and immediately consume garbage information, social media gossip, negative news headlines, pointless entertainment. Their minds are flooded with low-value input before their feet even hit the floor. It's no wonder they feel scattered, anxious, or unmotivated. High performers choose a different path. They choose content that challenges their mind, strengthens their beliefs, teaches new skills, or reminds them of what truly matters. Whether it's a few pages of a timeless book, a powerful audiobook, a short podcast, or a lesson from a mentor, they make sure the first input of the day adds value, not noise. This habit, practiced consistently, compounds over time. Reading 10 pages of a life-changing book each morning may not seem like much today, but over the course of a year, it adds up to dozens of books, hundreds of new ideas, thousands of thoughts reframed. That's not just information, that's transformation. The key is consistency. Not volume, not speed, consistency. One small idea absorbed each day can shape decisions, behavior, and attitude. It could be a principle about discipline, a quote about courage, a story about resilience, or a strategy to solve a problem. These are the seeds that grow into better thinking. The people who rise early to read or learn don't do it to feel smart. They do it because they understand how dangerous mental stagnation is. Without fresh input, the brain runs on old software, outdated beliefs, recycled fears, tired perspectives. But when you feed your mind with purpose, you give it something new to work with. You expand what's possible. Reading in the morning also builds momentum. When you start the day by learning something meaningful, you feel like you've already moved forward. You begin with progress. You carry a mindset of growth into everything you do afterward. This mindset becomes your lens throughout the day. How you handle challenges, how you speak to others, how you respond to stress. There's a reason some of the most successful leaders in history, from Warren Buffett to Elon Musk, from Oprah Winfrey to Barack Obama, have made reading a non-negotiable part of their lives. It's not just a personal preference, it's a power habit. Reading in the morning also improves decision-making. When your mind is filled with fresh knowledge, you're less likely to make impulsive choices. You think ahead, you consider broader perspectives, you respond with intention, not emotion. You operate from strength, not scarcity. It doesn't matter what field you're in: business, education, entrepreneurship, creativity, or service. Staying mentally sharp requires regular learning. The world is changing fast. Those who stop learning fall behind. Those who feed their minds with strong, focused content stay relevant and ahead. But not all content is equal. Consuming information is not the same as learning. The internet is filled with distractions disguised as knowledge. Clicking through headlines, scrolling random advice, or binge-watching motivational videos doesn't guarantee growth. Real learning happens when you slow down and engage deeply with valuable material. That's why the most successful people are selective. They read books written by people who've done what they want to do. They study timeless principles, not just trending opinions. They return to the same ideas again and again until they've absorbed the essence of it. Learning is not a race. It's a practice. And when you make it part of your morning, it becomes automatic. Just like brushing your teeth or drinking water, it becomes a routine you no longer question. You simply do it because you know how powerful it is. For some, it's reading scripture, wisdom literature, or spiritual texts that bring perspective and grounding. For others, it's reading a chapter of a book on leadership, habits, or performance. Others prefer a short daily email from a trusted mentor, or even a printed quote taped to the wall that they reflect on. It's not about the method, it's about the mindset behind it. The best part: you don't need hours. Even 10 focused minutes is enough to change the direction of your thinking. It's not the duration, it's the depth. If you want to begin this habit, start small. Choose a book that aligns with the kind of person you want to become. Keep it near your bed, or wherever you begin your day. Commit to reading just one page. That's it, one page. The goal isn't volume, it's direction. One good idea can shift your mindset. One reminder of your values can bring you back to center. One story of someone overcoming adversity can give you courage when you need it most. And over time, this morning practice becomes more than a habit. It becomes a source of identity. You start to see yourself as someone who learns, someone who grows, someone who takes responsibility for their mind. This changes how you walk into the day. You no longer feel like life is happening to you. You realize you are shaping your mind, and through that, shaping your life. That's why rich people do this, not because they're trying to impress anyone, but because they know that mindset drives outcomes, and mindset begins with input. The world is full of noise and distraction, but when you choose to start your day by feeding your mind with wisdom, insight, and learning, you stand out. You rise above the average. You gain an edge, quietly but powerfully. This is not about motivation. It's about preparation. Learning in the morning prepares you for everything the world will throw at you during the day. You don't know what challenges will come, but when your mind is strong, you'll be ready. The formula is simple. Protect your morning. Choose your input. Read or learn something valuable, something that matters. Then carry that energy, that clarity, and that knowledge into your day. And watch how everything starts to change, not all at once, but one powerful morning at a time. Chapter 9. Reflect in silence. Before engaging the world. In a world where noise dominates every waking moment, silence has become a rare commodity. Most people wake up and immediately dive into a storm of distractions, notifications, emails, social media, conversations, responsibilities. Before they've even taken a deep breath, their mind is pulled in 10 different directions. They're reacting before they've had a single quiet thought of their own. But the most successful individuals, those who live with intention, clarity, and control, follow a different pattern. They protect the first few minutes of their day, not to rush into tasks, but to pause, to sit in silence, to reflect, to listen to what's happening inside before dealing with everything outside. This silent reflection isn't a spiritual luxury. It's a practical tool for mental strength. It's the habit that separates people who lead from people who follow. In those quiet early moments, your mind is still soft, unshaped by the demands of the world. And that's when it's most important to be still and conscious of what you are carrying into the day. Silent reflection is about clarity. It's about checking in with yourself before the noise of the world drowns out your inner voice. It's about grounding your thoughts before distractions hijack your attention. And most importantly, it's about setting the tone for how you want to move, speak, work, and live for the next 16 hours. People often underestimate how powerful silence can be. They think productivity begins with action, but in truth, the most productive actions begin with clarity, and clarity is born in stillness. Reflection is how you clean your mental lens, how you step back and observe your emotions, your thoughts, your direction. It gives you space to recognize what matters and what doesn't. The practice doesn't need to be long. Even 5 to 10 minutes of intentional silence can change the entire course of your day. It's not about meditating in some perfect way. It's about being still and listening to your thoughts, to your heart, to your worries, to your purpose. It's about acknowledging your mental state, accepting it without judgment, and deciding how you will carry it forward. Without this moment of reflection, people start their day carrying yesterday's chaos. They wake up still stressed, still overwhelmed, still caught in the loop of problems they didn't resolve. Silent reflection acts like a reset button. It doesn't erase challenges, but it allows you to approach them with a centered and composed mind. Rich people, those who are rich not just in money but in purpose, discipline and peace, know that stillness is not a waste of time. It's a powerful investment. That pause before the world starts speaking is where they reconnect with their direction. They review their priorities. They remind themselves who they are and what they stand for. And this makes a difference in how they show up. They don't get pulled into every argument. They don't jump at every demand. They move with purpose. They speak with intention. They protect their time. That strength comes from knowing who they are and that knowing is shaped in silence. Silent reflection also helps you detect emotional clutter. Most people move through the day without realizing how much anxiety, fear, anger, or fatigue is building up inside them. But when you take time to sit quietly, you start to notice what's been weighing on you. You become aware of unresolved thoughts, doubts, or decisions you've been avoiding. You may not solve everything in those few minutes, but simply becoming aware gives you power. You stop reacting blindly. You gain control over how you respond. That awareness is often the difference between a day that feels chaotic and one that feels composed. Reflection also helps reinforce your values. Every day you're faced with choices: how to spend your time, who to listen to, what to focus on. Without reflection, those choices are made on autopilot. With reflection, they're made with intention. You remind yourself, this is what matters to me. This is what I'm building. This is what I won't compromise on. Over time, this practice becomes a compass. No matter how loud the world gets, you carry a sense of direction within you. That's what makes high achievers consistent. Not just their work ethic, but their ability to stay anchored in who they are. In silence, you also gain perspective. Problems that seemed overwhelming the night before shrink in size. Decisions that felt urgent lose their intensity. You begin to see your life with a wider lens. You ask better questions. You don't just ask, what should I do today? You ask, what kind of person do I want to be today? And that changes how you operate. Silent reflection isn't complicated, but it must be protected. It won't happen if you reach for your phone the moment you wake up. It won't happen if you fill your first hour with noise. You must carve it out deliberately. That might mean waking up a little earlier. It might mean sitting quietly at your desk, your couch, or your balcony, wherever you feel at ease. No distractions, just you and your thoughts. You might reflect on what you're grateful for. You might replay yesterday's actions and assess what you want to improve. You might set a quiet intention for the day ahead. You might simply breathe deeply and clear your mind. There's no single rule. The point is to be present with yourself before the rest of the world takes over your attention. This is not about escaping life. It's about preparing your mind to face it with strength. The people who seem unshaken by challenges, the calm leaders, the focused creators, the patient parents, the thoughtful decision makers, they don't get that way by chance. They train their mind to pause, observe, and act with clarity. That training begins in silence. And once you start doing this regularly, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel more grounded. You'll stop reacting to everything. You'll handle interruptions with more calm. You'll feel less rushed, even when the day is busy. That inner stillness will begin to shape your outer actions. You don't need a perfect environment to reflect. You just need space and a commitment to yourself. If you make it a habit, it will become one of the most valuable parts of your day. Because no matter how ambitious your goals are, no matter how full your schedule is, none of it will matter if your mind is foggy, stressed, or misaligned. Reflection in silence is the tool that clears the fog. It reconnects you with your vision. It gives you strength from within. Before you engage the world, engage yourself. Before you speak, listen to your own thoughts. Before you perform, prepare your spirit. That's how rich people start their day differently. Not just with action, but with awareness. They win their morning before they ever open their mouth. And that quiet victory is often what determines everything that comes after. Chapter 10. Take fast action on one key task daily. Every day presents a simple choice: move forward or stay stuck. Most people delay action. They think, analyze, question, hesitate, And while they wait for the right time, the right mood, or the perfect plan, the day slips by. Meanwhile, the people who succeed take a different path. They move quickly. They don't wait. They begin. This is the principle of taking fast action on one key task every day. It's not about doing 100 things. It's about doing one thing that matters and doing it without delay. This single habit separates people who make progress from people who stay busy without ever moving forward. Every day offers one priority that can shift the needle. One task that builds your dream, improves your craft, strengthens your position, or brings in real results. But many people ignore it. They avoid the hard task. They get distracted by low-value activities. They answer emails, scroll through feeds, organize files, but they never touch the task that actually moves them forward. Rich people, those who achieve uncommon results, treat their most important task like a sacred responsibility. They identify it early, often the night before, and take action on it without hesitation. They don't wait to feel ready. They understand that momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Taking fast action builds a habit of decisiveness. It trains your mind to prioritize progress over perfection. The more you act without delay, the more confidence you build. You begin to trust yourself. You stop second-guessing. You develop a rhythm that compounds day after day. This habit is about clarity and courage. Clarity to know what matters most. Courage to begin without excuses. Both are required to win. Without clarity, you waste your effort. Without courage, you never start. Each morning, there's a small window of power. It's the moment before the noise starts. The moment when your willpower is strongest. That's the time to strike. That's when successful people make their move. They attack the key task before distractions, doubts, or fatigue steal their edge. The key is not just identifying any task, but the right one. The task that brings results. The one that pushes you forward. It could be writing a critical email, making a sales call, designing a project, recording a video, sending a proposal, building a new system, whatever aligns most closely with your long-term goal. It won't always be comfortable. In fact, the most important tasks are often the most uncomfortable. That's why they get pushed to the bottom of the list. But the discomfort is the signal. If a task stretches you, it likely matters. If it feels urgent, but not important, it probably doesn't. Fast action doesn't mean reckless speed. It means immediate, focused execution. No overthinking. No waiting. Just begin. You don't need to finish everything in one sitting. You just need to start with intensity. That small win at the beginning of the day gives you energy for the rest of it. People often say they lack time, but time is not the issue. Focus is. A person who tackles one high-impact task each day will outperform someone who juggles 20 unimportant ones. Results don't come from how much you do, they come from what you choose to do and how quickly you begin doing it. Taking fast action daily also reduces procrastination. When you train yourself to act quickly, you remove the mental drag that slows most people down. You stop wasting energy on decision fatigue. You stop negotiating with yourself. You simply do the work. This builds personal power because every time you take fast action, you reinforce your identity as someone who follows through. That identity compounds over time. You don't just work harder, you work with greater belief in yourself. You stop talking about what you'll do someday and start living it now, in real time, every single day. The truth is, most big goals are built by stacking small actions, one brick at a time, day by day. But the foundation must be consistent. That consistency comes from a daily habit of meaningful action, not talk, not planning, not hoping, but doing. Fast action also beats fear. Most fears shrink when faced head-on. The longer you wait, the bigger they grow. But when you act quickly, you rob fear of its power. You cut through the mental fog. You turn dread into motion. You stop sitting in the waiting room of life and start walking through the door. Some people get stuck chasing the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is a myth. The real moment is now. You either use it or lose it. High performers know this. They use the early hours of the day to win a small battle that shapes everything that follows. One key task. That's it. Not 10, not 5. 1. But done with energy, speed, and intention. When you start your day with this mindset, everything changes. Your mind becomes sharper. Your purpose becomes clearer. Your confidence rises. You begin to control the day instead of letting the day control you. This habit is also how people break through plateaus. When growth slows, it's often because people stop doing the hard things. They stay in their comfort zone. But when you recommit to fast, focused action on one meaningful task, progress returns, and so does momentum. This approach doesn't require genius. It requires grit. It's about showing up every day and doing the task that others avoid. It's about moving while others are still thinking. It's about choosing impact over ease. Fast action also frees your time. When you handle your priority task early, the rest of the day becomes lighter. You don't carry the weight of procrastination. You're not haunted by what you didn't do. You feel free, sharp, and in control. Success is not built on bursts of massive effort once in a while. It's built on steady, consistent action. One meaningful step, taken fast, every day. Over time, those steps build empires, movements, freedom, and fulfillment. The world is full of smart people who don't act, full of talented people who hesitate, full of good people with dreams they never chase. What sets winners apart isn't always brilliance. It's execution, speed, grit, relentless follow-through. And it all begins with one decision: act now. So tomorrow when you wake up, don't scroll, don't delay. Identify your key task, the one that truly matters, and begin. That's how people build a life of freedom, purpose, and impact. Not in theory, in practice. One fast, focused action at a time.